me to keep an eye on the Instagram one, and you can keep an eye on this?
Sure, that would be very helpful. Let me just make sure we're live, and we're live.
Hey guys, it's Friday. We're in the Fat Quarter Shop studio, and Edyta has been filming all these great videos for us. She has a brand new book out. She has brand new fabric out with Andover. Her new book is called Sew in Love, and we published it, and it is awesome. This is actually the only copy that we have.
The first copy.
Yeah, it came off the printer and they overnighted it. So there's no other copies. So we are not shipping for like a week or two because they're actually right now just putting the binding on. They just made one for us filming. So if you haven't pre-ordered that book, you want to do that on the Fat Quarter Shop website. It will be shipping in about 2 weeks. So we've got that going. We've got the block of the month available. We're trying to make more spots in the piece, so we'll have more information on that on Monday. And today we're just going to be hanging out, answering questions. Y'all always ask me a lot of questions about applique, and I don't know how to applique. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for y'all to get all your applique questions out, because this is like the expert, and I don't know a thing about applique. So we're gonna take questions, and then we're gonna have a giveaway, and then Emma at the end is gonna come and give y'all a big reveal about where we're gonna be spending our day if you wanna come and meet us. So she's gonna come in at the end and tell us that. So we'll start with, I guess, questions.
Got questions. We've got lots of people tuning in saying that they love you guys. One person, Teresa on YouTube, said 2 of my favorite people.
Oh, thank you, Teresa.
Everyone is super excited. All right, so we had some questions that were submitted prior on Facebook. So we are going to start with, let me find it here. Question from Carmel Barbridge. She says, I'd love to know where Edyta gets her inspiration for her beautiful blue colors.
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Many times the mood and the way what I do or how I think inspire my collection. So let's say blue sky, it was just the time that I moved from Michigan to California. And you know, when you move, you don't have many friends and you're going in a new place. And I noticed my head was down a little bit. I wasn't looking up, and a little bit sad about it. And the moment I lift my head up and looked at blue sky, I realized that everywhere I go, that blue sky make me so happy. So I designed blue sky collection, and it was all shades of blues of a sky, raining, shiny, but always when you sit and need a little bit lift your head up, and right away your mood gets a little bit better. So my fabrics and the blue sky made me happy.
Beautiful. So along those same lines, what is your inspiration for the red?
For the red, so Santa, and speaking of a blue sky, I did a collection called Something Blue, and Something Blue is, during weddings you have something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. And this year my husband and myself, we celebrate 25 years together, and I did the Something Blue collection. And during designing the Something Blue, I noticed there are little sweethearts in my life, like my children, my husband. So the red and white collection was a little like a special touch to it. So little sweetheart got to be the reds and pinks. And I'm very shy in my personal life when you meet me on everyday basis. So I love the pinks. I'm not all the way to the reds, but I did a little bit red because I want your heart to skip a beat.
We're going to check something with our Instagrams here. Apparently some people are having a hard time hearing, so we're just going to move these a lot closer. Instagram's a little different because we are on phones, so hopefully moving everything closer will help out.
Oh no, sorry. I accidentally flipped the camera.
It's all good. All right. Beautiful. So, question from Colleen Sandbach. What fusible do you use for applique, if any?
where I love fusible applique. It allows me to make my project really quickly, and there are many different fusible webbings on the market. And all of us cannot be married to one person, so you have to choose your favorite. And there are some of my personal favorites. I have 3 favorites: Lightweight Heat and Bound, Wonder Underlight, Steam Seam 2 Light. I use my fusible webbing and I choose it depends on the project. If I want a nice raw edges, I use Lightweight Heat and Bound. It's a 1 layer of paper. You can trace your design very easily to it. It gets a little stiff if you overpress, so you have to be very careful when you're pressing. The second one that I would recommend is Steam Seam 2 Light, and that one, it's 2 layers of paper, netting in between, so it's a little bit more difficult to trace a design, but I love that one for our laser cut pieces and when I design something brand new. Why? Because that one has a little sticky on it, so I can peel a paper away, attach it to my fabric, and then put my design on a design wall without pinning, and I can lay out the whole quilt and nothing moves because the sticky keeps it for a little bit there. And if I want to move something, easy, peel it off and move it to the side. So I really like that one. And then, but the edges fray just a little bit more on that one. The lightest one is Wonder Underlight, and that one frays the most, but it's the lightest, so many times I use it for my baby quilts because I want that softness and the light, and when the project is washed, it works really good. So those are the fusible webbings. But quilt, I believe you should touch and play and enjoy with doing your quilts with many different techniques, different products. It gives yourself some variety. Try all different things, find your favorites, but choose your product. Whatever you're doing depends on a project. So if I want a long-term project and I want to sit and relax, I enjoy hand applique. If I want something quick and easy, fusible applique. If I want something in between both, machine applique. And sometimes I do needle turn, sometimes I prepare my pieces with freezer paper templates, sometimes just trace it and cut it. So constantly switching things allow me to live a really full and awesome life as a quilter because I enjoy all different things.
Beautiful. All right. So we have a question from Kelly Warren asking if you pre-wash your fabrics.
That's an excellent question. So I many times work from very small swatches of fabric, so it's hard to pre-wash those. And if you choose to pre-wash, you have to pre-wash all your fabrics or don't pre-wash any of them. And we do worry about bleeding of our fabrics. That's why we pre-wash the fabrics. There is also another concern that we worry about: shrinkage of fabric. I enjoy the shrinkage because I want my quilts after the wash look vintage, so I don't mind that, but the bleeding will bother me. So what I do is, since I don't pre-wash my fabrics, I test them. So if I have reds or navies or olive greens, something dark, blacks, many times I take a tissue paper, wet it, and I squeeze it on the edge of my fabric in it, open the tissue. If there is a bleeding, I'm sorry, I'm not going to use this, but if there is no bleeding, then I know I'm good to go. And you should definitely do that. And the risk quality of fabric is excellent. I have not had any problems, so I have enjoyed my fabrics in my quilts many times.
Beautiful. So we're getting a lot of questions about the quilt behind you. Do you guys want to talk about all that?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have, it's a brand new book. It's called Sew in Love. There's a pieced version and an applique version, and it's a block of the month on the Fat Quarter Shop website. We still have spots in the applique version, and we should be able to open some more spots in the pieced version later, either today, really late, or Monday morning. The fabric is selling so good, and the block of the month is selling so good that we keep selling out. So we're waiting for an answer from Andover, but we should be able to make more spots. And we will, of course, have all the fabric at Fat Quarter Shop. It's beautiful. There's a piece version, applique version. I made the one behind me, and oh no, I didn't. Edyta made the one behind me, and then I made the pieced one, which is over here.
That's the one that you get to see in all the videos that we have just finished taping, the pieced version of the quilt, where we tape step by step for every block, and you have option. The the book has 12 blocks, and in pieced version you use only 10 of the blocks, and in applique version you use 10 of the blocks. So you have a chance to replace some of the blocks with another block and make it a little bit more yours. But the block of the month will provide you with everything you possibly can use it, and the videos that we have just taped it for you would be a great help. Step by step directions in the book are amazing, and I want to bring your attention to the book for just one moment. So what we did is in the Sew in Love book we did 12 blocks that I go to it all the time and use it in many of my quilts. Those blocks are my sweethearts. And in the beginning of the book you get a great directions on which fabric to use, where the fabric goes, write the front pages. Then you choose the option applique or pieced. You go through all of the blocks, making them. Once you finish your blocks, in the back of the book you will find a direction how to put each of the quilts together, depends on which one you chose. Then we add inner border and outer border, and we didn't stop there. Kimberly and me, we thought, okay, if you love some of the blocks, you're gonna want to make individual little quilts with it. And so we jumped into it and created 12 quilts made just with each of the block. So you have a full quilt, and we gave you 4 sizes, baby size up to a queen size, and you have all the fabric direction requirements, cutting, everything you possibly can make, variety of those quilts. So you have additional 48 patterns. Then we didn't stop there. We gave you recipes for sashings if you would like to add to your quilt, or if you would like to add your blocks on points. So you have that as well, and a great gallery of pictures how you can play with your quilts, display them, hang them. I roll mine and put in old antique buckets in my house. So you have so much to go to it. So it's not just a block of the month and you're done. It is your Sew in Love learning experiences, gaining new skills, and then recipes for dozens of projects that if you fall in love with a block, you can go ahead and do it more and more of it. So I have Emma, would you please get me the quilt from over there? I would love to show it to the girls. It is, I want to show you one of the quilts made with one of the blocks. There's one that one of the girls in your office did it all by herself. She chose her favorite block. Look at this, isn't that sweet? So it's the same block flipped over and over, creating a secondary design, and you can do it this kind of idea of choosing your favorite and making a whole quilt. And this is a baby size. I love this so much. It is just adorable. A little baby would just love it.
And then I want to show you this one.
Okay.
Emma, come hold this for me.
Look at this. I love this. He loves me enough. Hi, Emma. Look at this. So I did one of the blocks and I repeated over and over and made a cute quilt with this one. I know for a fact that this pattern I'm gonna use it multiple times, not only with these colors, but crinkle your eyes, imagine in blue and white. Wouldn't that be stunning? Or use up all your fun scraps, or maybe you have that layer cake that you absolutely love it and saved it for years. Cut it up and start putting nice flowers together. Super simple, and I love how those little details, everything is pieced, and there are templates. We have the templates available.
So the top part of the flower is pieced, even the bottom. The only thing that's appliqued are the leaves at the bottom.
And I use a fusible applique, and we have a package of leaves that you can purchase, so you don't even have to cut yours. But this is really nice templates, where the templates you can cut it and then cut it from them, and then also the templates have little holes where you can mark, okay, I'm gonna sew from A to B. And in a video we did excellent directions for you to do that. I spend a lot of time showing you how I pin it, Take your time. This is fun and exciting. Do not be afraid of it.
And so we're going to be posting videos starting August 1st.
Oh.
So starting August 1st, and we're going to do, you know, month 1, month 2, month 3, so you can follow along with us. And this is how her templates look. Emma opened it for me so I could show you. So you can just use these.
Yeah. They have a paper on it, so you can peel the paper away. Then they're gonna be more see-through. But I keep the paper just for protection of my templates. And notice the tiny little holes. This gives you indication where
to start and stop. So that's super helpful for that quilt. What's our next question?
So we've got a lot of people asking, what would you suggest for a beginner trying to applique, so they can slowly ease into the bigger version of the applique?
Well, this quilt actually is excellent for beginners because you can try one block if it's not going your way. But just remember, anything that you do, like riding a bike, the first time you go around the block, it wasn't easy. You were shaking. You had to have all the helmets and everything on you. So take your time. Even if you fall off and things don't come out right, keep going, because practice makes perfect. I can show you how to ride a bike, but if you don't get on it and start doing, it's not gonna happen. But this one is excellent because it was a very low price, one package of the silhouettes, everything is already prepped for you, allows you to just focus on fusing your pieces down, stitch around, make your blocks, and you can do this block that is on the outside right here, and there are 8 of them. So by making 8 blocks, great practice. Or you can only do this one because you have variety of blocks, and you can replace in the quilt the blocks that you may be a little afraid of it.
And the silhouettes are great for beginners because everything is cut for you, and you can just peel them off. She has them in lots of shapes, not just for this quilt. And so we're gonna have all the ones that she has available on the Fat Quarter Shop website in about a week. And then she's also got some different thread boxes. The Sew in Love goes with this quilt. We're gonna have Touches of Blue, which goes with her blue fabric. So we're gonna have a lot of thread that will help you, because when you're new, I always think if you match your thread, then if there's a mistake, you're not gonna really see it.
Yeah. So stitching, and many of the machine comes up with a beautiful zigzag stitch or blanket stitch or satin stitch, and that's what you need to add around the edges. And be kind to yourself. Don't set yourself on perfection. You have to start someplace. When you first learning things, it could be a little imperfect. It's handmade, I call it. That's the excuse I find it for myself when I do things new and exciting, and I just try to enjoy them and try to do it. One advice that I have to give it to you when you do fusible applique: embroidery needles are fantastic for fusible applique, and make sure you have a little alcohol wipe and wipe your needle before you start even stitching. So I wipe it, start stitching, wipe it again in case any of the fusible webbing starts sticking to your needle. So that is something you wanted to do it. And you want to have an embroidery needle because that one is made for fusible applique.
And we're gonna have those at Fat Quarter Shop next week. We just ordered them so that we would have them for you guys.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome.
All right, this question's kind of for both of you, so you guys can take turns answering it. But Kelly Warren was also asking, do you guys have any secret quilting advice you want to share, or a trick or a shortcut that you often use?
You go first.
Secret advice? Wow, that's a good one. I don't know if I want to tell you guys my secret advice. Where the one thing that I noticed over the years with quilting, I just went and did it. I didn't say to myself, okay, this is advanced quilt. Don't set boundaries for yourself. Just go do it. That's my biggest advice for you. Many times I see my girls in a classroom where they're starting, and I gently push them just a little bit further, and when the class finished, they're like, I can't believe I did that. So just taking that first step and doing. Don't set boundaries for yourself. That's my advice to you.
So my advice would be, I starch everything. And this is my number one question. I got this idea from Lisa Bonjean. I did not make it up myself. So I've got 2 videos out there that show you what I do. And when I starch, I get perfect blocks. So that would be my advice. And then my other advice is don't follow, there's no rules. Do what you want to do.
Exactly.
If you want to wash your fabric, wash your fabric. If you want to starch it. Do whatever you want to do. Like if you go to a quilting retreat, just do what you're comfortable with. Sometimes I've gone to quilting retreats, people are saying, oh, you have to do it this way or you have to do it this way. No, you don't. Do what you want to do, because if you do it the way somebody else tells you and you don't enjoy it, you're going to get frustrated. So I just say, this is what I tell my daughter all the time, like, live your life. Do what you want. Just do what you want. Stay in your lane and do your thing, whatever that thing is. Same thing with quilting. Do what you want to do.
Another thing that I would also, like the thing that I do, my secret thing is that I pay attention when I cut my fabric.
Oh, yes.
I pay attention to it, and I have invested in Creative Grids rulers simply because they do give me the best cutting results. And I notice sometimes the lines on your rulers are a little too big.
Thick.
If I cut it right, my project is beautiful. If I rush through it and didn't pay attention, then I'm right away setting myself on failure and not doing it right. But try to be kind to yourself and don't set boundaries and try things.
All right. This other question is also from Kelly Warren, and it's kind of for both of you as well. What is your favorite type of sewing or quilting, as in hand quilting, applique, paper piecing, etc.? English paper piecing?
I like just traditional piecing. I love samplers, so I love the quilt behind me. I love like the Christmas figs quilt we did. Anything that looks like a sampler is what I like to do personally. I like to do piecing. I pretty much just do straight piecing. I hardly ever applique. I hardly ever quilt. I hardly ever paper piece. So anything that's just very sampler, classic, new colors with like an old design, I would say. That's what I like to do.
Where for me is definitely piecing and then adding some applique to it. I just absolutely love it. Even if it's just a tiny little leaf on a branch, or gives me that freedom of movement and a little bird here or there. So that's something I enjoy. But technique wise, I like to try all different techniques. There are quilts that I have done it that I have a applique border on it, and I did machine, hand and fusible on the same quilt. So switching techniques during the process allows me to finish the project, because sometimes I get tired of doing the same thing over and over, and if it's a difficult project, swapping the technique just kind of, oh, okay, I didn't exercise this muscle, let me try to do that now. So I like to do that.
Perfect. A lot of people were also asking, where did you guys get your shirts?
Oh, of course, at the Fat Quarter Shop. So if you just search Eat Sleep Quilt, it will pop up.
And I just got mine. It's brand new. I'm so excited. And girls, it is so soft. You're gonna love it. I think I'm gonna have to have 2 of them.
Let's see. What is your favorite stitch setting for applique?
So I like to use a zigzag stitch or blanket stitch. So zigzag, I think, would be my number 1 to go to it, because I like to do a fusible applique and I don't want to see the stitches sometimes. So fusible applique breaks down to 2 different appliques. You can do fusible raw edge, fusible finish edge. Raw edge, you would put a straight stitch 1/8 on the inside of your applique away from the edge, and the edges would be raw. So with time they will lift it up and fray gently. And many of the art quilts are done that way. And then you have fusible finish edge. You can put a zigzag, blanket stitch or satin stitch around those edges. And I choose many times, if I want to hide my stitch, I do a zigzag and invisible thread. If I wanted to show off my stitches, I would do a blanket stitch or satin stitch, and I would either complement or accent with my Aurifil threads.
And along the same lines, what weight of Aurifil do you use for applique?
50. The weight 50. I don't like to build up too much thread around the edge. I just want a delicate accent and a little lift of it. And this our project right here has one of the orifil threads and a blanket stitch. If you wanted to, you could make the stitch a little bit bigger, a little smaller. Make sure you capture 1/8 of the edge, because you want to have at least 1/8 cover and hold in place, so that way the stitch will hold your pieces in place.
All right, and we have a question about the tutorials we filmed. Someone on YouTube is asking, do you plan to have any intermediate precision tutorials like you've done in the past? And they did say that they love the 8-point star.
See, like our 8-point star.
That's her number one video on the Fact Workshop channel. We filmed it like 3 or 4 years ago.
We definitely should work on it.
Yeah.
We have something special coming up that I think you're gonna be very, very surprised with it. So this time we filmed something that I think a lot of you guys have been asking and have been interested in it. We did a little video about beddings, because it's important to make your quilt up, very important what you choose for your backing, but many times we forget that layer in between those two layers, bedding. So we did a little video on that, and I think you're gonna enjoy that one. So make sure you tune in to watch it.
Beautiful. And someone was asking if we can see the pieced version of the quilt behind you.
Yes.
Emma, you want to hold it?
I can hold it with you too. Awesome. Oh, Emma, come and help us.
So the difference in the piece is you can see this top applique.
The flowers.
This one replaces it. And then the other difference is
Right here.
this
the
flower
spell.
versus
Yeah. Spell on you block. And this block is an awesome technique right here, this one. It's a really cool block, and this one makes an excellent whole quilt. It's a wonderful block. And the log cabin, again, a secondary design when you just use this one by itself as well. It's a variation of a log cabin, so you don't have the dark and the light, you have the dark through the middle. It's fun technique, and it's made the courthouse step style.
And this is a question for Emma. Which one is your favorite block in the quilt?
This one,
Which is Emma?
this one,
It's the one, he loves me not.
and this one on the block.
In the big pocketed fabric, yes, that's one of my personal favorites too. And Emma, you like pink, don't you? Yeah, I thought so.
Somebody else is asking, will there be fabric suggestions for the borders and the backing?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you want to show, Emma, would you bring the big quilt one more time? Let's show the backing. Actually, the backing of that quilt is stunning. You're gonna guys love this fabric. It's one of my personal favorites. Look at the backing fabric. It is just beautiful. It has the big flowers, touches of pink, and a delicate smidgen of blue in it, in case you want to use it either way of the side, but it looks lovely.
Alright.
Thank you, Anna.
We have a lot of questions, so
Oh,
we're going to just
wonderful.
try to get to as many as we can.
Okay, so we'll answer faster.
Okay.
These are good. Teresa on YouTube is asking, Edyta, you do an amazing number of quilts. What's the secret to your productivity?
She works all the time. That's her answer.
Thank you.
But
I
she
do.
just is like very fast, like very efficient and focused is what I mean, like.
I
What do you
plan
think?
out my projects. So a lot of the projects are planned out. And I think, when I used to do quilting just for fun, I would switch the fabric around and do this and change my mind. And that slows me down. Where now I plan out my project, and when it's time to make the quilt, I get right to it. Everything has to go as the picture was designed, and I follow that. And I do quilting for a living, so I get up every morning and make quilts.
Yeah, she's so fast. I wish I could be that fast.
People are also asking what is the size of the blocks.
the blocks are 9.5
there you go.
unfinished. 9.5 unfinished. It's a
see what they-
beautiful size of a block because it's not too small, but it gives you, it's not too big, so it gives you the delicate feel to the quilt. And like I said, you can repeat the same blocks, just one block multiple times, and it makes a great quilt. Emma, do you want to show us the red one?
Yes.
Yeah, with the 9 patches. This is something
This
I
one?
want you to see it. Yeah, if you reverse the colors, so we have a light backgrounds and our design is in red. But look at this 9 patch quilt where we did the reverse of red here and a light through here. It just makes a total perfect sweetheart quilt for Valentine's. And this size could be a baby or table topper as well. Oh yes, Emma's favorite, yeah. And now mixing the reds with blues, this is amazing. You know, our favorite pattern, made in USA. Once again, guys, thank you so much for sending all of the blocks last year for our fundraiser. We made a lot of quilts and everybody that received them was so thrilled. So this one, I took just one block and made it into the pillow. I just put a little backing on it, stuffed it, and I stitched it. You can visit my blog. I actually have a step-by-step on my blog for that one. Just posted. And this is made with the combination of something blue and little sweetheart together. This is a fun project for beginners. So in my studio, a lot of the girls that come in to help me are beginners and they're Navy wives, and I taught all of them how to make this block and they absolutely love it. When you sew strips together, you get to figure out your 1/4 inch seam allowance, because when it's finished, then you know it was too small or too big. This block is so forgiving because you can change the size of this to accommodate this part and then add the bottom part, and you still enjoy your block, but it's a kind of a practice of where your 1/4 inch seam allowance is. Do you like this one, Emma?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. It's one of my, I can wait to decorate this weekend. Yes.
So we do have a lot of other questions asking about the quilting of the quilt. Any ideas for machine quilting, or do you prefer edge-to-edge quilting?
So actually for this quilt, I looked at this quilt and I quilted both of them, the pieced one and the applique one. And at first I thought I'm gonna do the pieced one edge to edge and kind of smooth up all of the layers, all of the coloring. The quilt is rather busy and exciting, so I wanted something that would give a like an overall nice smooth feel to it. And I chose feathers for the pieced one. It is stunning. Then I came up to do this one and I thought, this could be a nice custom one where I outline all of the applique blocks, do a little background. But then I felt this would be maybe more easy for you to see and understand that if I put an overall quilting, it's okay to do it over applique. So I went and did an edge to edge on this one as well. Just chose one of my favorite patterns. It's just a little design that I have it. It's digitized design and it worked stunning. The quilt lays beautifully on my bed, hangs on a wall great, display nice, and it just shows you that sometimes when we do advanced quilts like this and we do applique, we feel, okay, now I have to save money to have it custom quilt. You don't have to. Edge to edge will look just as good as long your quilt is finished. That's the most important part.
Awesome. So we've got some questions about batiks. Some are asking, do you combine them with cottons? And somebody else is asking if you have plans for more lines like that in the future.
Yes, I absolutely love putting batiks and prints together, and I had a lot of beautiful collections with Moda that I did both batiks and prints. I designed now for Andover. We just did a collection called Splash of Color, and Splash of Color actually goes well with Sequoia, Crystal Farm, and we have something special coming up to show you in next few weeks that will match all my blue and white collections. So I think you're gonna be enjoying that one as well. So stay tuned. There are new things coming out. I love mixing the two. It gives me like a watercolor feel to some of the areas of the block. Like the printed fabric has just melted away. So I love doing it.
Someone wants to know if they use muslin as your background fabric, what should she be aware of to make it last a long time?
For a muslin, use a good quality one. So there are companies out there that have really good quality muslin, because you can get a not so good quality and the weave is not as tight, so it's not gonna work as well with the good quality fabric. So instead of a muslin, I actually would recommend a solid. So choose a nice light solid fabric and use that instead of a muslin.
Someone is asking, do you have a studio you hold classes at, or do you just go to Quilt Shop for day classes?
Most likely I teach at AQS shows, and I teach at guilds and retreats. I don't teach in my studio. When I come to my studio, I make those quilts. So there isn't much time for me left to have friends over and teach. But you can email us for more information where I'm going to be teaching. We are already booked and scheduled for next 2 years, so I will be on the road and hope to see you there.
Someone is asking if you can design a green line of fabric.
I get that question all the time, but I actually just did design beautiful greens for you with Sequoia collection. I think they are one of the most beautiful greens you can get. And then in the fall, there is another group that is coming out that it's gonna have some lovely greens in it. So get some Sequoia fabrics and wait for fall, where you can add some more of the fabrics that I designed. Many of my collection, I match one to the other. So if you buy a few pieces from one group, you couldn't afford to get the whole collection, the next group will give you that same little bit pieces to add to your stash.
And this next question is actually for Emma.
Oh, come back and
Sorry,
Come, Emma.
Cherry wants to know if you quilt as well.
I have before. I've made 2 quilts, and I usually just practice with like fabric. I just like sew them together.
All right.
But I have to compliment Emma on something. Emma is excellent with lining things up. So if you notice the beautiful flowers and a pillow, this is all Emma. She set it all up for us and organized the place, so it's pleasant for us to sit here and enjoy the space.
And so I think I've shown y'all before on my live streams. You can stay. There's like a drawer I have that just has like leftover scraps. So she'll just come in and just grab whatever and like make little bags or stuff. You can sit down.
Awesome. Okay. Mame7 wants to know, we know Kimberly starches, but does Edyta starch?
Oh yes, especially my 8-point stars. So if you, and especially when you do small piecing, like very small pieces, you have to starch. You have to press your fabrics. The one thing that I do, I don't know if you do you starch it from the front or from the back?
I soak it all the way through and
All
let
the
it
way-
dry on the bathtub.
Yeah.
So I
She
just,
hangs it over the bathtub.
it's really, a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like she starches more gently, but she starches on the back so that
Yeah.
the front, what did you tell me? The front doesn't get
Doesn't get the shine to it.
Oh,
So
that's
what
right.
I do, I always press everything from
the
the
back.
back. Even when I prepare my students' kits, many times I pre-cut the kits for my students. I press everybody's fabric, spray it with best press, iron it beautifully from the back. I don't put anything on the front of my quilts, don't spray with anything. I just don't like the little sheen when I piece it and then iron it. And then it works great, especially and in my patterns for 8-point stars, black big sign, starch your fabric almost like a paperweight. Because for 8-point stars, when you're cutting the 45-degree angles, it just pulls it apart and the bias just stretches and things don't come out right for you.
And then what is your, what scent do you like in the best press?
I don't like any scent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unscented.
Unscented. The only scent I like is Emma's new perfume.
That Edyta got her last night.
Yes. We went and did a little tryout of perfume and now I'm just basically addicted to it.
Yeah, we just have the little samples.
All right, Eileen on Facebook is asking, Edyta, you said you get up in the morning and quilt. How do you stay relaxed now? So when you're not
Relax.
quilting, what do you do to relax?
I have a cute puppy named Oliver, and my Oliver keeps me all relaxed with his walks. So my favorite thing is to go with Oliver for a walk on a beach, and for my extra little time if I have, I love knitting and crocheting, guys. Recently I took some fabrics and like tied them together and crochet a bag out of it. I posted on my Instagram. So any leftover, I love knitting, love crocheting, English paper piecing. That's what relaxes me. I highly recommend it.
All right, Julie on Facebook says that, okay, hang on, sorry. She's asking, are you going to be at the Quilt Festival in Houston this year? She met you there some years ago and she was very inspired by you.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are going to be at the festival this year. So many girls have asked and I have not gone for a little bit. So I think it's time, and we have some amazing things coming up for fall. So in case you love my Patches of Blue book, there is that book is one of 3 books that will come out. So the second one in a series of the books is coming up in the fall, Patches of Scraps. And I cannot wait to show you this book, guys. It is to die for. It's amazing.
All right, we've got a question from Kelly Warren on Facebook. She says, modern fabrics and quilting or traditional? What do you lean towards more for yourselves?
I use a lot of pink and aqua. I don't really do modern. I just really do pink and aqua.
That's our 2 favorite colors.
That's pretty much my house.
Yeah, and gray.
And gray. So yeah, I pretty much just go with color rather than design, I guess.
Well, I have to say I love all of it. Again, I'm gonna be in trouble now. I love collecting antique quilts. I love making quilts look like antique quilts. I love modern quilts. I love graffiti. I don't know, anytime I see color, I'm inspired by it. And I let myself go. I love all of it.
Beautiful. So along the same lines of color, what is your favorite color apart from blue?
So a lot of people don't know this about me. My favorite is the blue, 100%. But another color that I love, and I think it's a color, it's the lights in the quilt, the tone on tone, light beiges, delicate backgrounds. I'm addicted to it. I collect them, stash them, love them, make my quilts with it. Backgrounds to me are just as important as the other colors in the quilt. So the lights in my quilt are my favorites. Do you have a favorite?
Just pink and
Pink.
aqua.
Pink and aqua.
What about you, Emma?
Mine's blue.
Blue? Good girl, give me 5.
All right, so we're at about 40 minutes right now. I know we want to do a giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we should give everyone a minute to head over to our Facebook, because this giveaway you have to comment on Facebook. So
Yes,
anyone watching
yeah.
right now on YouTube or Instagram, if you want to try to win this giveaway, go to Facebook right now. You have about 2 minutes.
Yes, and the giveaway is huge. We have fabrics, we have threads, we have our book, Little Handful of Scraps. Yes, we have silhouettes that we're gonna give away, and we have, box of templates for our new book. So I cannot wait, and the book that we're giving away, Little Handful of Scraps, will be signed for you. So go to Facebook and leave a comment. I'm excited for you.
So what do we want them to comment? Do we want to do a trivia question?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
The trivia
Something
question.
about what we talked about right
got
now, if they've been watching and paying attention.
What is Emma's favorite color?
Ooh, good one. What is Emma's favorite color? First person to comment wins the giveaway.
Yes.
And then we'll we'll contact you later today to get your address and all that. And then today, we're going to be hanging out somewhere. And Emma's going to tell you all the places we're going to be. So if you want to come meet us, you can come to these places. So tell them where we're going.
We are gonna go to Waco, to Magnolia, and the Spice Market.
And where are we going to have lunch?
It's at a Mexican place. What's it called?
Ninfa's.
Neef.
And then we're going to also go, there's a little place next to Magnolia Market we're going to go to, and then there's an antique store we're going to go to.
Oh, yes.
So if you want, like if you really want to meet us, you can
We'll be
just
there.
go on
Drive down there.
Yeah. Well, some of you live in Waco, probably. I would go to Kimberly Stitch Squad and just kind of comment there because I'm going to see that first, and then I can kind of tell you where. I mean, we're going to just play it by ear, but we're first going to go to probably eat, and then Magnolia, and then the store next door, then the antique store, and then Spice Market. And I don't know, Emma and I have done this trip probably 4 times, so we kind of have a little rhythm of what we do.
So all of us will be going. The person behind the camera, me.
Oh yeah,
Mom,
Lily.
and her.
Yeah, so if you want to come meet us, and then we're also going to do a little video of our trip. We're going to just call it like Traveling with Kimberly because somebody suggested that on I don't know, Facebook Live. I mean, if y'all think I'm that interesting that you want to travel with me, I think I'm pretty boring.
No. And we will be wearing the t-shirts, so you will be able to spot us.
All right, I do believe we have a winner. It looks like Sandra Sharp was the first one to say blue.
Okay.
And
So
she said-
Aneri's going to contact you, and then I'll take all this to Aneri. Yay.
Perfect.
She did
Winner,
say
winner,
she loves
chicken
the
dinner.
show. She loves the fabrics and the tips.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
All right, and yeah, we still have a lot of questions, but you can just direct them to your group if they need their questions answered later.
Okay, so why don't y'all go to Kimberly Stitch Squad. Well, first, if you want to come back to this video at any time, we're going to save it on YouTube and Facebook, on Fat Quarter Shop, and in my group called Kimberly Stitch Squad. If you ever have a direct question for me, you want to put it there because I don't live on social media, and to be honest, like, I really don't even look at Instagram because it's just hard. I live in dye fabric, and so I kind of just do this Facebook group. So like last night, one of my customers wants Sonic the Hedgehog fabric, and I saw that, and I emailed immediately my contact. I still haven't heard back, but I'm gonna try to get you that fabric. So yeah, any questions you have today, why don't you post them there? Lily's gonna be driving, so as you know, ask me the questions. I'll ask Edyta. We'll just answer on the phone today. While she's in town. Tomorrow she'll be gone, so you want to ask your questions today because tomorrow she's going to be back in California.
Yep.
So thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see all of you next week.